Alrighty guys, welcome back to another episode. I want to kind of go on and go live here and talk about some stocks, and honestly just give my opinion pretty much what's been going on with the market lately. Let me move myself out of the way. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down in the chat here. Let me make myself just a tad bigger here. But so I sent the link to the group chat, but we're going to start off here with probably one of the more popular stocks here, Gamestop. Should you invest in this company? Let me move. I want to figure out a good spot for myself. Let's go right there. So there's been a lot of hype around Gamestop here. Looking at the 180-day chart, you guys can see the stock went from around $21 all the way up to $513. Consolidated for a minute, fell all the way back down to 40, spiked back up to about 180, 200 bucks, sold off, and it's just extremely volatile. So for me, I'm staying away from it. That doesn't mean that this stock can't go back up to 500. I just don't see the value in it. Right now the company honestly isn't very strong. The only thing that they do have going for them is they are turning for they're turning for a online store, something that they should have been doing a long time ago. I think a really cool concept for them would be like the Netflix of video games. Could GameStop hit 240 bucks by next Thursday? So that means it would need to go where about right here. So that's a old resistance. Yeah, it looks like it there. So it probably won't. The reason why I say that is because I could be completely wrong, because the volatility for GameStop is off the charts really. But right now we're still on this downward trend here in the short term. So there's a lot more sellers entering than buyers. So for it to go back up to 240, I think that would be hard. It would be hard to do, but it easily could. It's hard for me to give, price targets, especially being a week out. I know that they did release their earnings and they missed it by a cent, which isn't, that it's not that big of a deal. But, there's just so much volatility with GameStop right now. But for me, I'm staying away from it, but that doesn't mean you can't make any money, because it could easily hit that 4 or that, that 240, but it also could go back down to 125. There's been a lot of volatility with it. What's my general outlook for Bitcoin? So Bitcoin, what's my opinion on it? What I did is I took around 5% of my money that I would normally be holding in cash, and I put it in Bitcoin. The reason why is because it's growing. It's been growing now for a couple of months, if not longer. I do think there's a real strong outlook for it. A lot of people think it can hit 100,000, 500,000. The price predictions are all guesses at the end of the day. But I think there is a future for it, the decentralized currency. I think for it to be a mainstream currency, though, the volatility is going to have to slow down. The issue with it is because everybody wants it to be a main currency, but you could, deposit, let's just say $100, wake up and it could be worth $140, but it also could be worth $70. There's that volatility that's not good. But for a company like, Riot, let's pull up the chart. So it's there we go. Riot blockchain. I think the outlook for this is pretty strong. I really think there's a lot of future for it. Breaking down the chart, it tends to use that 200 moving average line as support. So we got buying pressure there, buying pressure there. So now we did get some crazy sell-off over the past couple of weeks here. So this still could be a good opportunity to invest. I think you should just dollar cost average this one, hold it for 3 years. Don't even look at it and just see what happens with it. Let me add my other study here because It's super important. We got to add the RSI. We can just do that. Okay. So we can see how things are looking on that. But yeah, I think the outlook for Riot is pretty strong here. It would be a good opportunity to invest right now because we've had some sell-off lately. But just dollar cost average this one. Just invest a little bit every week. That's what I do with Bitcoin. That's what I do with the S&P 500. I think that is probably the smartest strategy to invest, so you don't have to try to time all of these stocks. Just dollar cost average them. The outlook on them are good. All right, so the next one here we want to look at FNKO. So Funko. I'm a huge Funko person, really. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I'm pretty big into Funko. A lot of people think Funko could be fad. I think they're a lot more than that. But yeah, looking at the chart here, beautiful upward trend. It does look like we've had some strong earnings just by looking at that, so that's good. One thing I would like to know is revenue growth, cash on hand, and long-term debt. I think that would be extremely important for a company like this. I don't know what it is, but the chart looks fine. Really has some resistance here at 21, support here at around 16, more support at the 90 moving average line. Yeah, this is a solid investment. Understand though, a company like Funko does carry a little more risk than probably a traditional, blue chip stock, because this is still a smaller company, and you have to look at the outlook. So if that's just say the outlook for Funko, if you want this stock to go to $40, that means that this company is going to have to this company's going to have to double, and what that means is double sales, revenue, everything like that. So you have to understand that a company like Funko, people think it's a fad, but it's almost turning into like a different outlook than a lot of people thought, because you don't realize it, but now there's books, there's movies on Funko. It's like getting crazy, but I do think there is some opportunity with Funko. Just looking at the chart here is pretty promising. Live on Saturday night. Yes, I am live on Saturday night. Yes, Funko plus NFT market. Yeah, I think if I don't know if they're getting into that. Like I said, I'm not a huge Funko expert here, but if they could sell those, it's like digital art, I think that would be phenomenal. I think that would be really, really interesting and definitely make the stock more appealing here. But yes, I am live on Saturday night. This is what I do. I work a lot, but yes. Let's look at this next one here. So we got, is that the ticket? All right, hold on. I'll get to Roblox here. Let me pull up this next one here. I don't know what the ticker is, though. TELADOC. Okay. Health. All right, so let's go for this one. Let's go to the yearly chart. All right, so we've had a lot of volatility with this one. We're still on an upward trend. Yes, in hindsight, I know it looks weird, but yeah, we're still on an upward trend here. So I don't know if it did look like they did release earnings, and they missed earnings here, which had this stock get sold off like crazy. Went from the highs here at almost 300 all the way back down to 176. So understand, missed earnings of $3 is terrible. That's not good at all. But that could be a variety of things, restructuring company, new, stuff like that. You have to look into more. Look at the long-term debt, cash on hand for a company like this. But with that sell-off, yeah, you could use that, that huge sell-off and hop in. Understand that this company could carry a little more risk right now. because of that missed earnings. So make sure you guys have some more blue chip stocks, ETFs, companies, and ETFs like that. But yeah, this one definitely with that sell-off, bringing opportunity, could be a good investment here. And it's on a pretty hard support at 175. You can see we did get buying pressure there, and it does look like we got buying pressure there. So maybe we could get a little more right there. It's hard to say, but we're still on that short-term downtrend. So my price, all right, hold on. So we got that Roblox. So Roblox for me, it's hard to say. I think there's a lot of pros, but also a couple of cons. Let me pull up the chart. I don't remember the ticker. ROB. Let's just type in the company. All right. So Roblox for me, am I invested in it? Yes, I invest in a lot of companies, but I didn't go heavily invested in this one for a couple of reasons. The CEO does control a lot of it, and that does scare me a little bit. But honestly, Roblox valuation is a tad high for the revenue growth. And not to mention, I think Roblox, the future, you have to look at something like, for this company to double in stock price, that means this whole company in general that's already, pretty overvalued is going to have to double. So this stock that's $70 is going to have to go all the way up to, right here, 140. Could it? It easily could. But, I just think right now there's better opportunity elsewhere. And, I think I only bought like 3 or 4 shares of it because I did play Roblox growing up. So I think there's, an opportunity there. And the revenue is still growing, which is really promising. So I'm just kind of excited to see what happens. I want to wait for a couple more earnings and stuff like that before I go heavily in it. And wait for kind of the IPO to kind of settle out. Because it's very common to see an IPO squeeze up, sell off, probably get bought up again, sell off, and then consolidate. So my thoughts on DraftKings, I think that's the ticker. Where I keep losing it. DKNG. So DraftKings honestly is it's a company that really it plays on people's vices. It's a vice company, so it's one of the gambling companies. It's very similar to a drug company like tobacco, alcohol, companies like that. But honestly, now with sports betting, very similar to Penn, I think this company carries a lot of potential. It really does. I don't think the company is profitable yet, which is, decent. But the thing that is crazy is the revenue growth. I understand the revenue is growing at a very, very rapid rate, which is really promising. You guys can see it did break out of that old resistance here at 64, hit highs at 74, and we just got some sell-off. So right now probably would be a decent time to invest because it could use that old resistance as some new support. I think this would be a good investment, especially for the long term, but understand a company like this is still a smaller company, so you have to adjust your risk for sure. BBW here. What is that? Wait. Yeah, BBW. Build-A-Bear Workshop. Man, I don't think I haven't looked at this stock in a while. But looking at it here, you guys can see it's not super heavily traded. But honestly, the chart doesn't look bad. The chart don't lie. So honestly, yes, I think for under $10 stock, this would be a fun one to hop in at. Especially it hit highs at 10. We've sold off down to $7.35. But the issue is, I don't know if I see one. We've had some good revenue. We've had some good earnings. One thing that does scare me is it's a brick and mortar store. So I don't know if they're turning more towards online. It's very, very hard for me to judge a company like this because brick and mortar stores do scare me a little bit. The only way I love them is when they have good margins, when they have either strong or solid employees, they pay their employees well, they have a lot of cash, all that stuff's promising. That's why I like companies, honestly, like Home Depot, Costco, companies like that I understand could go through a hard time and shake it off. And those are companies that people will always go to. Home Depot probably will never, knock on wood, but never experience a very hard time. So it's super, honestly exciting. But, Build-A-Bear is super interesting. But resistance here definitely at, what would that be? About $9. Support here at around 670. Could make a decent trade just from looking at that. Neo. This is a company, guys, that's been getting hammered. And I've been investing in this company now for a minute. But yeah, we're just going through a rough time. Very similar to Apple, Amazon. They've all experienced this when they were a startup. So, I'm using this opportunity. I'm still investing in it. I invested at $3, $11, $19, and now hopping in, at around 35. I do think we'll probably get some support here, hopefully stepping in soon, because we did get bought up here. So hopefully we'll get bought up at that same price zone. But my price, what would that be? My price target for 2021, December of 2021, would probably be about $62. I know that could be a little high, but I think once they start releasing their next earnings, delivery, stuff like that, I think that would be really, really promising too. So a lot of volatility, especially among electric vehicles lately, which is cool, because you can use that to your advantage. Just you got to look at everything in yeah. Needs to stay away from the cameras for a few weeks. Yes, he does. But just use the volatility, honestly, of the stocks you like to your advantage. Never be shaken out of a strong company. All that stuff's super important. But price target, would be about $62. BNGO, let's pull it up here. All right, so this company went from 40, pretty much 50 cents all the way up to $15. Sold off, found some support at 6. So now we're just pretty much selling off back down to pretty much realistic price levels. So I don't know much about this company. I don't know much, there's a lot of people that are heavily invested in, what is that, Genomics. I don't know if that's how you say it. Yeah, I don't know. But there's a lot of money behind it, and obviously the stock shows. So a company like this probably would fall into a little higher risk category. So don't heavily invest in it, but still invest enough where, if it does go up to 50 or $75, where you make a good amount of money. But also don't be shy if it falls back down to $2 or $4. You have to understand that with all investments, with all stocks, there's a lot of risk involved, and especially with a smaller company like this. Korean Amazon, I don't even know which you got to send a ticker. If there's an online an online company, it's pretty much probably going to do pretty decent here, especially nowadays. You just got to make sure that they still have high margins. They didn't take on a lot of long-term debt, because all that stuff will kill a business. That's why I love a variety of businesses that have high margins, because high margins are pretty much an indicator for success and good cash on hand and little long-term debt. Do you have I'll get to that question. I do have an answer to that, Dave. But pretty much Korean Amazon. Yeah, I would guess moderate risk, so you could heavily invest. Do you think XRP will ever blow up? I don't know. I don't really invest in XRP. I did a while back. I sold it, and the Korean Amazon is, let me see. What was it? CPNG. All right, so looking at the stock, that does not look super promising. But yeah, so this would fall definitely in a moderate to higher risk for sure, just from looking at this stock. If it was growing, that would mean there's a lot of investors, a lot of hype behind it. Hopefully they would release some sort of good earnings. All that stuff would be good. So yeah, moderate to high risk for sure for a company like this. Have a good rest of your weekend. GPS plus Kanye West. Let's pull it up here. GPS, Gap. Honestly, Gap, looking at the last couple of earnings, pretty decent. I don't know if they pay a dividend. It would be nice if they did. But yeah, this is a decent investment. So this would fall definitely in a lower to moderate risk. So you could still pretty much invest heavily. Understand, it does have a nice upward trend. Tends to use that 200 as some support. It's hard to say because we did get buying pressure there, a little bit there, but we sold off and consolidated. Got buying pressure there. So yeah, with the sell-off, could be a good opportunity. Good opportunity to invest here. Yeah, with Kanye West, I don't know if he's behind it or not. That is very interesting here. Do you have a favorite crypto other than Bitcoin? Bitcoin's not my number one. A lot of people think it is, but it's not. My number one crypto would be Ethereum. I do invest quite a bit of money into it. I've been investing in it for, about a year now, off and on. Anytime I get spare money to invest, I'll put a little bit in it. Ethereum is different because there's a lot of hype that, for me, carries a lot of potential. Probably more than Bitcoin in some cases, where they almost want like smart contracts. So imagine if you guys wanted to, like, I don't know, buy a house. Instead of going through a realtor and mortgage broker fees and all this stuff, you would pretty much work directly with the buyer and seller. All the other people would be wiped out. And you would have a smart contract with Ethereum. So it's very, very interesting. And you could use a smart contract with business, with contracting work, with consulting, all that stuff. It's super, super interesting, and I think there's a lot of potential behind it. So that's what I'm super excited about, is that I'm just, I understand that there's still so much risk behind it, but also, guys, a lot of rewards. So you gotta invest a little bit of money to make some. Zynga. So Zynga is honestly, what is it, under $20, $10? ZNGA, I believe, is the ticker. Is that the one you are talking? Let me see. I don't know if that's well, I keep losing it. I wish I could like delete them as I go, but that's all right. Where am I? Right here. ZNZINGA. I don't know. I think you're thinking of ZNGA. We'll go with that. This is the company that works off of, this is the company that makes like the mobile apps like Words with Friends and a lot of companies like it. This is the company that, creates Words with Friends, a lot of mobile apps, stuff like that. Honestly, it's super, super interesting. For around $10, you can't beat it. And this is a fun investment for me because I use all of those apps. So it's kind of like, you invest in what you use. So yeah, I do have a little small portion of my riskier investments in Zynga. I'm super excited about what the future of it. Yeah, people are getting more dependent on mobile entertainment. I think that's only going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And with them, already having a strong backbone of, the strong mobile apps, Words with Friends, they own and created a variety of them. The only thing that does kind of not do too super good is the past couple of earnings have been missed, so that's not super good. But obviously, you understand that this is still a riskier investment, but it's around $10, so you can't beat it. What are your thoughts of Nintendo? So I assume this is the ticker. I'll just copy it in there. All right, so Nintendo here. Honestly, I like it. It looks like we get paid a dividend, upward trend, can't beat it. I use the products. Resistance at 82, support here at 60, more here at 68. Ride this all day. Right now, 73. I'll just dollar cost average this one all day. This would be a good one. Good one to hold. I think there's a lot of potential. It's a solid company. I think it's a good investment, really, Nintendo. So, yeah. Why do some stocks drop even after a good earnings? Just like VFF. Big fan. Hello from Compton, California. Thank you for being a big fan, but I'll answer this question. Let's pull up what was it? VFF? Yes. VFF. Whoops. Jeez. All right. So we have Village Farm. So they released good earnings. Very similar to what you said. They released earnings here, and then they've gotten sold off. So look at this. One thing about earnings is earnings are pretty much just an indicator for future success is the way I think of it. So yes, we did have that earnings, but look at this. Over the next following, weeks, we've had that crazy sell-off. But before it, we had huge buying pressure, a lot of hype, a lot of news saying that they're going to have a good earnings, and then it falls back down to realistic price levels. So for me, a good earnings is just an indicator for future success. Just because a company does have a solid earnings or beat earnings doesn't mean that it's going to continue to ride up. Really, it doesn't. It's an indicator that yes, now that we've seen, 1 and 2 consecutive earnings that have been beat, this would be a good investment to hold because yes, it's under $20 or under $15. So I believe this is a cannabis company, so it's in a growing sector. This would be a good investment. It really would be. We've had good, good revenues, good earnings. All that stuff's very, very important. So it's just weird. It is. It's hard to judge because sometimes when a company releases earnings, the stock will shoot up 7%. It all depends on the company and the lead up behind it. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Do you favor any particular sector to invest in? Okay, so for me, I invest in pretty much almost all of the ARK invest. So like ARKK, ARKK, there we go. ARK, yes, crazy sell-off, no big deal. This is a long-term investment. ARKW. I invest in just pretty much a lot of sectors, to be honest, but I think the tops are renewable energies. I think we have pretty much internet giants, I believe, is the ARK one. I don't know. I think IT, cybersecurity, obviously electric vehicles. I don't know, a lot. There's a lot of good sectors. Am I heavily invested in cannabis? No, not really. I think there's a lot of hype behind it, a lot of good future for it, but I just didn't get into it, as much as I probably should have, because a lot of money has been made this year from it. Just a sector I missed out on, and it happens. CNE versus Microsoft. Also, which one did you get? Let's pull them up. So we have SNE. So we have Sony versus Microsoft. I own Microsoft, by the way. For me, Microsoft, I don't know. It's a company I use. I use Microsoft products, Xbox, my computers, Windows. So it's just a product I use. There's a lot of future for it. Dividend growth has historically outperformed the market. So for me, it's that all day. I was in BMY for months and nothing but good news, and it did squat. Let me see. BMY. Whoops. All right. So it does look like we've had, some decent buying pressure leading up here, but this one doesn't move as much. That's probably why. So really the highs here over the past, what's the most you earned from an option? I don't really do options a whole lot. I will tell you from an individual stock picks like $35,000. But yeah. But from this stock, the reason why you didn't earn as much, even though it did create good news, is because it doesn't move as much. That's pretty much why. So, the highs here are at 67. Lows here are only at $59. So, it doesn't move that much. At the end of the day, yes, it's pretty volatile just by looking from the chart, but there's probably quite a bit of stock out there if I was going to guess, because it's pretty heavily traded. But the lows here, 59, 56 bucks, highs, that's only like a $10 window. So that's probably why you didn't see the growth you wanted with that one. Can you explain dollar cost averaging? Like for a company like CrowdStrike, I want to put $50 every week for the next 5 years. So for me, let's just pull it up. What's the ticker? CrowdStrike right here. Okay. So you see CrowdStrike, right? Let me pull it up. You see how it's volatile, okay? Instead of putting up, no, it does not. Jojo, I don't know if you're part of the course. Shoot me a Instagram DM, and we'll get you taken care of on it, okay? I'll put you in it, and anyone who wants to do the course, just shoot me a message, and we'll get you in it. Okay, but dollar cost averaging. So you guys can see that this has a nice upward trend. Okay. So pretty much you could have done one lump sum investment, right? Pretty much anywhere on this chart and made money above or below $79. Okay. The hard part is telling when a stock is overvalued, okay, or is going to have sell-off. So if let's say you only could invest $1,000, okay, into CrowdStrike. So, but you bought in at $230, right? Now you bought in and you're holding it and it's not moving, okay? And you've seen this crazy sell-off, okay, back down to $178, right? So now you don't have the money to average down your shares. But if that just say you were investing that $50 a week and you started here, it doesn't even matter on the chart because you understand that CrowdStrike carries long-term potential. So what you would do is you would invest $50 a week, and then pretty much any time a stock falls more than 4-6%, just double what you normally would put in. So instead of $50 that week, do $100, right? So now it falls down here, you put the 100 in, and then it recovers. So your average share is now right in the middle, right? But now it's all the way up here. So you pretty much more than doubled what you normally would put in. Then you hold it, and then it falls back down that 6%. So what'd you do? You put another $100 in it. Okay? So now you hold it, falls more, 6% more, you got in. Again, so now your average price is all the way down here at around $200. But then look at this recovery, right? So you use the stock to your advantage. You understand that CrowdStrike carries long-term potential, but it's just been selling off lately like stocks do. So you hop in, you understand, just be consistent with your investments. $50 a week, anytime it falls more than 4-6%, that's up to you. Just double what you normally would put in. You'll make a ton of money in the long term. guaranteed. Why don't you like buying stocks on Cash App and Robinhood? I don't like. Oh wait, that's. Hold on. Let me. Assistant brother, but I appreciate the insight. Can I ask what's your thoughts on, especially during the market right now? So, all right. So IAU. So this is just a gold trust. Let's look at the long term for this. So this honestly doesn't move a whole much. For me, this would be very similar to like holding like a bond, right? So, when the market doesn't perform as much, a lot of people like to turn towards gold. So honestly, this would be very similar to holding like a bond, right? For me. And then I assume that one's silver. So what I would do if I were you, put them in your portfolio, hold them pretty much anytime you see something go undervalued, and you don't have the cash, sell some of these, put it towards that, and then build this back up, because it's going to still continue to grow in the long term, but not as much as the S&P 500, but it's a lot lower risk. So that's the way I would put it for something like this. But yeah, I always put money in bonds. I always do, especially now. I mean, even now, no issue with me. Any advice for someone with a small account, 24,000 trading? So if you're going to be day trading, I don't know what type of trading you're doing. If you're going to be day trading, invest in education, invest in scanner, invest in, don't be shy if you have to pay commissions. Understand that's part of the game. It's part of the process. The reason why I honestly prefer commission broker, especially for day trading, this is kind of going off, but because you'll have direct access. When you have a broker, even like Thinkorswim, especially now it's commission free, they pretty much third party all your trades. So someone along the line is going to be getting a better deal, and if you have direct access, you will be getting that better deal. But for someone who's going to be trading with a smaller account, just set very real expectations of yourself. Understand that this could be something that takes 6 months, a year, 2 years before you figure something out. Don't be scared to use a paper trading account if you're nervous or something like that. That's just my opinion. So moats. Oh, I've looked at moats before. All right, we're gonna go like 5 more minutes here. It's getting late, but so it does look like it's coming down from a downward trend. A little bit of a riskier investment. A couple missed earnings. I don't know. I would stay away from it, but that's just me. New colon cancer tool released. Oh, well, if they're doing something that carries a lot of potential, maybe invest in it. High risk, high reward. It's only $1.20. Grab a couple shares, put $50, $100 towards it, just hold it for 3 years and see what happens. I'm thinking about swing trading, day trading proved stressful. Any thoughts? So, yes, day trading is stressful. I did it for 2 years. I don't do it as much. I still do it here and there. But swing trading, a lot more relaxed. Still invest in yourself. Invest in, a scanner, high quality, even, just a FinVez one for $30 a month. Just don't be scared to just honestly invest in it. Education. It sounds so easy, but that's what it is. Education. The more you learn, the more you earn. So I hope that helped. AMC, too much long-term debt for me. There could be a possible swing trade there. Oh, and one last thing with your swing trading. Keep it simple. You don't need no crazy strategy to be successful. You don't. Keep it easy. Keep it simple. But anyways, this one, I too much long-term debt. For GameStop, I don't invest in it. But GameStop, high risk, high reward. Same thing with the AMC. I'm staying away from it, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. we'll see you later. Remember to stay happy, guys. Stay positive. If you guys want to join the next live stream, I'm going to send it to the group chat. And then don't forget, guys, if you guys want to become part of the course, just shoot me a message on Instagram. So we'll see you later. Remember to stay happy, guys.